Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm happy to welcome you to a new edition of the Carol Azams Show. So on the show today, I have Britta Seeger-Wenske joining me all the way from Germany. Britta is one of the ladies that contributed their stories for my new book about the coronavirus lockdown stories. I'm talking about this book, obviously. Britta, I'm so excited that we are finally having this show. Welcome to the Carol Azams Show. I would like you to please take a moment to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hi, Carol. Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor. So, like you said, my name is Britta, and I'm a voice and speech coach and an acting coach. And I show driven entrepreneurs how to go from confused and overwhelmed when it comes to performing their content to feeling clear and calm and confident on any kind of platform. Could be on video, could be on stage. And I show them how to really step into that leader that they're meant to be through speaking. And I've done this for the past almost 20 years. So I've worked with CEOs, with TEDx speakers, and with entrepreneurs, and really showed them through a mixture of acting tools and scientific tools how to be really powerful when it comes to speaking. And I love that because I remember when I started out 20 years ago, I used to hate speaking. And I just hated to be visible. And you know that saying, we teach what we need to learn. And I noticed that even though you might be an introvert, even though you might hate speaking and be visible, everybody can learn to step up and to be visible and to speak up and to share their story. Because we all want to make an impact and we all have a story to share. And I'm here to show people how to use their story to really grow their business, make an impact, and to create that ripple effect. You know, when we speak, when we share a story, we have this ripple effect, and then we can influence people, and this is what we're here to do, and this is what we're meant to be. When I'm not coaching, I spend time with my two beautiful daughters. They're 1.5 and 4. And being a parent is the biggest challenge and the greatest joy at the same time. I know we're going to talk about this more over the course of our talk. And I also love to swim. So in Germany right now, the pools are still closed, but swimming and movement in general are really important to me. So that's me, and I really look forward to chatting with you further.
Okay, so you also featured in my book, my new book about COVID-19. So I want to say, once again, we've said this times and times over, but today you're on my show. So I want to say once again that I'm very proud to have you as one of the contributors with your own story about, your lockdown experiences in the book. So once again, welcome to the Carol Azams Show, Britta. Right now, I really can't ask you what you think about the stories of the other women in the book because I know that you haven't read them yet. I think it's been such a great experience working with so many women from all over the world. And sometimes I sit down and I want to ask myself, what is it exactly that I say to these women that make them to say yes to me because I am overwhelmed. Like before the crisis, we still haven't met up till now. I am looking forward to meet you very soon anyway. It is not always easy to say yes to somebody you haven't met before, but I think that so far this is something that this crisis has actually created. We have the opportunity now. It's always been there anyway, the chance to create new friends all over the world because the internet has always been there. But I think there has been an added advantage to it in the sense that we were all locked down, going through the same problems, and we shared the same worries all over the world. So it made it a tiny little bit easier when you're reaching out to someone and it's like you are extending, a hand of friendship to someone from one end of the world to the other part. I've never been to Germany before, and reaching out to you because of this book, and I'm just surprised. To be honest, I am overwhelmed. I've been so overwhelmed by the amount of acceptance. Let me put it that way. I reached out to you at such a difficult period, and I would say that just like the many other women that are in the book, you you gracefully accepted to be part of this book. What was it that made you to say yes to my proposal at first instance?
Yeah, you're totally right. I haven't read it yet. It's one of the things that's on my list. It's a huge list, with like having two kids that young and no daycare or very limited daycare time really is a struggle at this point. So there's a pile of books that I want to read, and of course the one that I'm featured in is one of them. What made me share my story? Like as a speaker and as a speaking coach, I really believe, or I know, that stories have the power to change someone. So stories have the purpose of uniting us. Stories have the purpose of telling someone, I understand you, I'm with you, without the other person having to go through this themselves necessarily. So I had a really rough time last year because shortly before COVID happened, my father passed away unexpectedly. I had the baby, I had Carla, and the daycare shut down. I have two businesses that I'm running. So I was in this like constant state of overwhelm. And it was really, I got really stuck in there. And I remember this one, and like we didn't have daycare. So I was trying to run my two businesses at night, in the evenings, or very early in the mornings. And I was exhausted, and I didn't take the time to really take care of myself. I didn't take the time, in a way, to take care of my family. So I remember this one day, and I shared this in your beautiful book. We got home, the kids and I, they were hungry. I was really tired, and they were kind of holding on to me. And I was like, okay, I need to get, like, I just had to, just dinner. Like, what am I gonna make for dinner? And there was nothing there, no way. Like, there were no noodles. There was, like, sometimes I have like sausages in the fridge I could just heat up. There was nothing there. And I found this bag of rice. Like, this is it. And the kids were like crying, and I was stressed out, and I was trying to order food, but it was on Monday, so most places were closed. And it was just this moment where I made this bag of rice and I put some ketchup on it. And the moment where I was watching my two beautiful children sitting there with this rice and ketchup, like, their faces red from crying, and I just thought, oh my God, this is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to be as a mother. This is not how I want to be with myself. Things really, really have to change. And I talked to my husband that night, and I said, I just can't do this anymore. I'm spent. So we did two things. I decided to take a 2 months break from my business, and we decided to look for private daycare or childcare, just so I could free up some time for my business and for myself. And that was such a relief. And the reason why I decided to share that story is sometimes it's hard for someone to admit that they struggle. Sometimes I think we look at people and we go, oh, they just look so put together. I know I look at people and I go, oh my God, they just look so, do they never fight? Do they never have piles of laundry lying around? And I decided to share that story because I wanted to reach out to women or people who struggle, and I wanted to say it's okay to struggle. It's okay. It's okay to just break down sometimes and go, I just can't do this anymore. Because I had heard from so many people who COVID hit, and then they found this business mentor, and everything was great, and it wasn't like that for me. Not at all. It took me a couple of months to go, okay, so let's just see how I'm going to make this work. And I did in the end. I can say that now. But in that moment, things just seemed they were just chaotic. And I wanted to tell people, it's okay. If you break, it's okay. Pick yourself back up. Look for solutions, but don't get mad at yourself for breaking. And that was the reason why I shared my story, in a way, to instill hope in people, to go, look, I broke and I made it work, so maybe you can do that as well.
Right. Before coronavirus, many people were struggling to divide their time between work and family responsibilities. I think we've all been through that one way or the other. And I know you mentioned in the book that you had forgotten about the people close to you because you were so focused on the outside, maybe due to overwork. So you tell me how things have changed for you in terms of communicating with the closest members of your family, especially now that most of us have been working from home.
Yeah, you're right. I was so focused on the outside, and I think it really was because I was so overworked. So the one thing that I really had to learn is I had to practice and learn self-care because I was going through so much emotionally, which is, dealing with my father's death, having the two kids, and loving my work and not really being able to do my work. I was just functioning in a way. I was somehow trying to make everything work. And what I had to learn is to listen to myself. I had to be okay with saying, you know what, I need time out. I need an hour to myself. So the first thing I did was start to really take care of myself. And and the thing is, I mean, we always talk about self-care, and I was always like, yeah, of course, self-care is really important, and it is. But I never really understood the necessity of taking care of myself because I was so used on serving. So I turned inward and I looked at what do I need? What is it that I need to do? So I started reading more. I started doing more sports again. And while I did this, I was able to set clearer boundaries with my family. And at the same time, because I had this time to myself, I enjoyed the time with my family way more. So there was more laughter, there were more stories, and that is the biggest thing that I took away from this. Take care of yourself first, and without like, without really planning on changing the communication, it will be different because you are in a different state. At least that's what it was for me. So the self-care came first, and what came from that was a way more loving and compassionate way of communicating with my kids and my husband and my sisters.
So, still on the topic of working from home, there's been a lot of talk about remote work and all of that, and in terms of lockdown and people going back to work. But I know that countries are coming out of lockdown. I'm not sure about how things are in your country, in Germany, but I know that some countries are coming out from some countries are coming out of lockdown, but that still doesn't mean we are returning to life as it were before the pandemic, especially with regards to work life. It still doesn't mean that we are returning to life as it used to be before the pandemic, especially with regards to work life. And I think that so far we can only pray that things, start to get better, but still no one knows for certain. While some people are happy returning to their workplace, many other people still prefer to continue working from home. So I want to ask you, what does the future of work look like in your opinion? What do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. To be honest, I have no idea because, before COVID 19, at least here in Germany, people were so hesitant to doing virtual trainings and events. They were so hesitant to doing like something like home office. And all of a sudden, it was possible because it had to be possible. And now, in a way, this feels like the new normal. So I think the virtual space is going to keep expanding. At the same time, people long to be with each other. So I don't know about you, but I really had periods in this, and we're moving into we're in the third lockdown at this point. So daycare is closed again, shops are closed, and people just long to be with each other. So I think once everything opens back up, there's going to be this big, oh my God, let's meet. I had many clients who in the beginning said, you know what, I'm going to book a training with you, but let's just wait until we can meet again. We're going to pay you, we're going to, it's all good, but let's just wait. And I just had someone I contacted last week and I said, who knows what's going to happen. But if we wait until we can meet again, who knows when this is going to be. So you said, you're right, let's meet. So I think the virtual space, like I said, it's gonna keep being there. It's gonna be there, and at the same time, the longing for people to be with each other is just so huge. I mean, I can kind of feel it. Like everywhere I look, like we can meet in public places. We still have to wear a mask, but we can meet in public places outside. So people just gather and they're all wearing masks, but they just want to be with each other. And by the way, that's one reason why we love stories, because stories connect. And it's like, in a way, we have like this one big universal story right now, which is being separated by the pandemic. And it just really gets to people. At least this is what I notice here in Germany. So yes, virtually it's gonna stay, it's gonna be there, and at the same time people will just keep meeting, and once they can go back to work in the office, they're just gonna do this as well. So I hope this answers your question. So there's no definite answer for me here, because like I said, ever since COVID-19 happened, it feels like I can't predict the future. We never can, but it feels more uncertain than ever before to a certain extent.
Right, so I've been told, by little birdie that you have an upcoming event. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'm hosting a free workshop on May 6th at 3 p.m. EST. And it's called Build Your Brand on Camera. Like I said earlier, I help speakers or leaders, entrepreneurs, how to really step up to the plate and share the message with clarity and conviction so that they can make an impact and build a brand and build their business and really change people's lives. It's going to be a small, intimate event. Only 12 people will be there, and it's hands-on. Like, I'm German, I like practical hands-on work. So just send me an email at hello@brittaseeger-Wenske.com. Just send yes or hell yeah or let's talk, and I'm going to send you the Zoom link. What are we going to cover? So I'm going to show you how to find the core message of your talk. So instead of going wide, I'm going to teach you how to go deep when you speak. I will also show you 3 different structures that will help you take your audience on an emotional journey. And we will talk speaker's personality, because every one of us is different. And in my work, I want to figure out what makes every single person unique as a speaker. And we're going to look at that as well. So Build Your Brand on Camera, May 6th at 3 p.m. EST. Send an email to hello@brittaseeger-Wenske.com, and I will send you the Zoom link.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Britta, and I wish you all the best with your event. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of my show today. This is the end of yet another edition of the Carol Azams Show, and I want to thank you for being with us. So until I come your way again next time, it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.